Growing up as a young girl, I was always fascinated with wildlife. I was always really interested in what was going on in the world around me and really excited to get out there and be amongst whatever wildlife I could find in my backyard or on my family's camping trips. It wasn't until I grew up and became a little more knowledgeable of this passion that I was able to identify the steps I needed to take to grow this passion into an actual contribution I can make to the world. You know, we all have passions and things that inspire us, but I think that left alone, they can only do so much. It's when we apply those passions with knowledge that we're able to actually leave a footprint on this planet in one way or another. So, this is me applying my passion with my knowledge in the beautiful Yosemite, carrying out the fundraiser for my first ever Why Should You Care project. Yes, this is serious business, as you can see. But in all seriousness, this Why Should You Care project is some important stuff. It uses the theory of change metrics that many scientists have used in the past to identify ways to get the public involved with conservation science through changes in knowledge, attitude, and how they communicate with others, among other human characteristics. I had the blessing and the honor to carry out my first ever Why Should You Care project with the Cheetah Outreach in South Africa. My videographer and photographer Jake Scheffler and I traveled overseas in 2017 to be able to interact with the people at the Cheetah Outreach and understand how their work is influencing wildlife conservation. My final project revealed some really interesting insights, but first I want to share with you a little bit about what it took to get there. For me, the best part of this project was getting to hang out with the ambassador cheetahs every day and seeing the excitement on visitors' faces as they did as well. The outreach uses their ambassador cheetahs as educational representatives for their livestock guarding dog program. They also use them to maintain genetic diversity of cheetah populations in the wild and to allow visitors to interact directly with these beautiful creatures. These cute little pups save the lives of many species in addition to cheetahs, who farmers might otherwise shoot to protect their herds and thus their finances. This is important as human population numbers continue to grow and invade the territory that cheetahs would otherwise have in the wild. Additionally, as deadly livestock predator interactions occur on farms across Africa, it is important that genetic reserves are safely maintained in places like the Cheetah Outreach. Not to mention, there is something life-changing about interacting one-on-one with a cheetah, as many visitors described.
You're awesome. So what did you think about your experience with the cheetahs?
It was really cool because you can't do that in the States, and they're so calm, and they're kind of scary out in the wild because you kind of imagine them like that they can maybe hurt you, but they're just calm. And
So do you kind of see them differently now than you did before you came here?
So I thought it'd be kind of scary a little bit to pet them because maybe they won't like it or they'll get mad or something. But they liked it. And
I would say definitely come. It's quite surreal while you're here, so it'll take me a while to process what I've been through, but I would definitely recommend coming. I think it's a wonderful experience.
The cheetahs.
You did? Why did you want to touch the cheetahs?
Because they're pretty.
They are.
Alright, they're doing a cub encounter with Tobias and Kitu. This is one of the more favored things that they do here by the visitors. It's very exciting because how often do you get to pet a cheetah cub, let alone two? The Cheetah Outreach ensures that the animals come first and that any and all encounters are only done on the cheetah's terms. The animals are never forced to do anything they don't want to and are rotated within neighboring enclosures to provide enrichment and to allow time away from visitors. Now, back to my project. Every day I was able to interact with visitors, and eventually I handed out over 50 flyers that contained a link to my project survey. It was my hopes that visitors would then answer the simple 8 questions and provide me with some great insights to analyze. One of my favorite parts of handing the flyers out was knowing that with each response I would have that much more insight into how education can enhance wildlife protection. One day, I was even allowed to lead a group of over 200 school kids around the Cheetah Outreach.
Benefiting from those dogs because they keep them away from the farms and keep them safe, okay? So let's just go look. We'll start at the farm.
This was a memory I will never forget, and I know Jake won't either. These kids who live so close to these animals knew so little, and I had a part in changing that. Jake and I quickly built relationships with the awesome staff and volunteers at the outreach, and with the cheetahs. I mean, how could you not? So saying our goodbyes was not easy, but I was excited to get home and start the data analysis process. Once home, I used a data analysis software program called NVivo. NVivo allowed me to qualitatively analyze data by discovering common ideas and themes shared in visitor responses. Without going into too much detail, I then applied these themes to their relation with the theory of change metrics and spent several weeks reading, interpreting, and gathering new insights from visitor responses. My analysis revealed that the knowledge of visitors was the most influenced metric. 77% of respondents claimed that their knowledge of cheetah conservation did change after their visit. A close 76% also claimed that their desire to talk with others about what they learned about cheetah conservation also was changed. In relation to the behavior change metric, 62% of visitors claimed that their perspectives on ways that they can help cheetah conservation was also changed. Not far behind, 54% shared that their likelihood of actually doing something to help the cheetah was impacted by their visit. In sum, the research revealed that the Cheetah Outreach does have a strong impact on public awareness of cheetah conservation efforts. It is my belief that further areas of focus could include creating a group discussion with visitors after their encounter to reinforce and share ideas. This could foster a greater change in the barrier removal metric by encouraging public action for conservation. An additional idea would be to provide visitors with concrete ways they can get involved at home. Lastly, finding ways to draw visitors to the Cheetah Outreach who don't initially have an interest in conservation might help spread knowledge and spark behavior changes within a wider audience. So, while that is a summarized version of my findings, I would love for you to check out my final paper on whyshouldyoukare.org. There are a lot more details and a lot more interesting things to learn. But I can't thank you enough for watching, and a big thank you to all the donors and supporters I had that allowed me to go on this awesome trip to Africa and complete one of my biggest dreams and my first ever project. Thank you for reading, for watching, for supporting, and please always consider, why should you care?